nuclear and military targets as millions of Israelis were forced to seek shelter overnight from Iranian ballistic missile attacks. I'm Ladar Gravey-Lazi. It's 7 a.m. in New York and 2 p.m. in Israel. Let's get into all the major headlines you need to know about the ongoing war. We begin this hour with news of renewed Israeli strikes on Tehran in broad daylight. IDF spokesperson Efi Deflin announced Wednesday afternoon that the IDF attacked 5 Iranian combat helicopters that tried to hit Israeli aircraft. He confirmed there are still Iranian resistance, but that Israel controls the airspace and will continue to control it. He also said that Israel is currently operating in 7 arenas simultaneously, but added that the war objectives have not changed, including in Gaza, securing the return of 53 hostages still held in captivity by Hamas. The IDF also confirmed that one of its attack drones fell in Iran. Officials are investigating whether it was shot down or crashed due to a technical malfunction. The IDF spokesperson stated that surface-to-air missiles were fired at Israeli Air Force drones. Meanwhile, overnight, 50 Air Force jets took part in a strike on an Iranian centrifuge production site and weapon production facilities in the continuing effort to destroy the Islamic regime's nuclear and military capabilities. The IDF says that the centrifuge production site targeted in Tehran was used by Iran to expand the scope and rate of its uranium enrichment for the purpose of developing nuclear weapons. The IDF now estimates that it will achieve its objectives against Iran's nuclear program within a week or 2, and the strikes will continue until the threat is eliminated. And joining us now with more on the ongoing war, Operation Rising Lions, is Avner Avraham, a former Mossad agent and founder of Spy Legends, the first agency that specializes in espionage and covert intelligence operations. Avner, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Avner, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
We seem to be having a quick technical issue. Avner, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, so we hear you now as well. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
So, we're seeing really an incredible operation. Israel has managed to essentially take control of the skies over Tehran in just 2 days and, is continuing to operate freely. So, lots of questions. Starting with, what can you tell us about the role of the Mossad in this operation?
Okay, so as you remember from the last year, the pages, okay? We decided, actually the Minister of Defense decided that he will publish Mossad operations, and that's why you could learn about the green pages in 60 minutes program. We also published that we killed Haniya in Tehran. So for many years, the Mossad collected a lot of information from inside about locations, about leaders, military leaders, nuclear sites, and also scientists. And we were very ready to be and to start this operation last week. It was Friday early in the morning because many of the scientists coming back home. If they serve far away from home, they are coming to Tehran on Thursday usually. So 3 a.m. It's a great time to start operation like this. There is a lot of fake news, and people ask how the Mossad could smuggle to Tehran or to Iran drones. And sometimes you have to ask yourself why they need to sell drones. Maybe they can produce these drones inside. You don't have to send agents inside. You can take someone and teach him, and then he can come and teach all the others. And in Tehran, it's very easy to find people that will work for you because most of the people in Tehran don't want this crazy regime. So they can cooperate with us. I can give you just example from my mind. I'm not sure that it's true, but think about people that clean the house. We saw the fancy penthouses that they use, the last floor for the high rank officers in the Iranian regime. And think about someone that need to clean this apartment for years. So he know everybody about the room, he know where he's staying, what time he's coming, when he left. And we took all this information and used it. And we still have a lot of surprises, believe me.
Still a lot of surprises in store. You know,
Yes.
there's a joke currently going around on Israeli social media that says that Iran tried to target Mossad headquarters in Israel, but that it doesn't matter because all the Mossad agents are in Iran anyways. And so, I mean, that, you know, it's really an incredible. And you talked a little bit about what goes into the planning of such an operation like this. You know, you said that there are more surprises in store. I know that you obviously, for security reasons, can't get into what those surprises may be. But maybe you could talk a little bit more in terms of the planning of these types of operations. I mean, how long does it take to get an operation such as this up off the ground? For example, what we've heard, as you mentioned, building of drones from inside Iran.
So the Iranian regime, when someone got a high rank position, for example, they don't replace him. He will be there for 20 years, 30 years. That's why when someone, the one that will replace him is not ready for anything. And so I think it's over 3 decades that we are collecting information there, and it's all about small details. And as you know, we are not sending missiles against the citizens in Tehran or in Iran, but they do the opposite, of course. And that's why we told them a few days ago to get out from Tehran. And there is a reason, because I believe that we are going to destroy every single building that related to this regime. But most of the people in Iran, they are not our enemy. And we are looking forward to have a peace agreement with them. So that's why we don't want to destroy, for example, the electricity, the water, oil fields. I mean, we can bomb all the oil fields, but it will be a huge crisis. Okay?
Yeah.
With three
And so can
goals.
you,
First of all,
yeah, go ahead.
stop
Three goals. Go ahead.
three goals. First of all, to stop the nuclear crazy program. The other one is avoid the missiles that we saw, the ballistics and whatever. And the third one is to change the regime.
We seem to have technical difficulties there. Avner, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, great. We had something
Yes.
cut in there for a moment. So you said just now that the third goal is to change the regime. Although here in Israel, the prime minister has stated repeatedly that that's not one of the war goals, that this would have to come from the Iranian people themselves. But maybe you can perhaps comment on maybe Mossad activities inside Iran in terms of facilitating this regime change, which we do know the Iranian people overwhelmingly want.
Okay, so this regime is very bad for the Iranian, but they need to replace him. We are not going to replace them. We will help them to do it. And I believe that maybe in a week or 2 weeks, as you know, in the past, they tried to do something. If you remember all the demonstrations and hijab and everything. So I believe that in the near future, will be they will decide to do something. And there is a way to help them. They need our help, but they need to do it. We are not going to. I believe that we are not going to kill the leaders or the chief, because he's also a Muslim leader. Okay, we are not going to do it, but I think that he isolated now, and he don't really know what's happening, and he's surrounded in a bunker with people that don't tell him the truth. And as far as I know, he ordered his people to decide what to do. I believe that they will escape, maybe to Russia with a lot of gold. They will take the families, and all the rest of the people should hide themselves. And it's crazy. It's a new Middle East. I would believe, 2 years ago, think about what happened after October 7. Think about what happened in Lebanon, Nasrallah, what happened in Syria. And know that the Iran are a pager, not pager, sorry, a paper tiger. They
Paper
don't have
tiger.
air force. They don't have air force. They cannot defend themselves. Look about these people that just thinking about God and the Islam, and they are killing people, and they took the money for themselves, and they have a fancy life, and they're just planning how to kill people around the world. And in Iran, they always say that after Saturday comes Sundays. It means that after we finish the Jews, we finish with the Christian. This is the main goal for this crazy regime. So that's why I'm looking forward to get help from Trump. He got the right forms and plans, and I believe that he will join.
You
And
believe
maybe the
that the
rest of
U.S. will join? Because
yes,
we're all waiting to hear. We're all
yes.
waiting to hear what President Trump decides. And
I think
indications do
I
indicate that
think
he
that
is getting closer to ordering U.S. involvement.
exactly. But as you remember, he negotiated with Iran, and this is the reason he became far away, a little far from Israel. He didn't land in Israel when he came to Dubai and to Qatar and whatever, and he spoke about negotiation. But when he saw the huge success, for even for our Israeli pilots, they couldn't believe. You know what happened with the Iranian pilots? They japed. They used the planes to escape, not to fight. So I
Yeah,
believe
we've
that he
heard
will
reports
join.
from Israeli pilots that when they flew into Iran, the Iranian pilots, as you mentioned, ran away. So really incredible.
And
As you said, a paper tiger.
something very important for your audience. They said the war, not this war, the October 7, with 3,000 missiles. 3,000. So they already used more than 1,000, and we destroy something like 1,000. So let's say that they have 1,000 missiles, and if they want to shoot, let's say 100 in a day, they have only days. So that's why you see that they are using maybe something like 3, 4, 5, 8 missiles every time. You know why? It's not because because they know that 2 weeks from now they cannot do anything. I mean, think about them. If they cannot send even one missile. So that's why this is the reason why they need to look at the numbers of the missiles. And of course, we are destroying these missiles and factories, and we are doing great things not only for Israel. We are doing this for the Democrats countries around the world. So we need your
Absolutely.
support.
Avner Avraham, thank you so much for joining us for your insights today.
Thank you.
So some interesting points there that Avner, a former Mossad agent, has made, and really highlighting the incredible operation that the IDF and Israel security forces, including the Mossad, have done over the past 6 days. And overnight Tuesday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to U.S. President Donald Trump over the phone amid growing speculation that President Trump will decide to increase America's role in the war. The call followed lengthy security consultations in both Washington and Jerusalem. And on Tuesday night, U.S. President Donald Trump called for the unconditional surrender of the Islamic Republic of Iran. In a series of tweets on his Truth Social platform, Trump said, quote, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target." But he added that the U.S. will not take him out, at least not for now. Trump also cautioned that U.S. patience is wearing thin. And while the United States initially sent mixed messages indicating it would not enter the offensive and was seeking to return to the negotiation table and end the war, the tone has shifted in the last 24 hours, with numerous analysts predicting the U.S. could enter the war at any moment. The main target, the Fordow nuclear facility located deep beneath the ground under a mountain. It remains an elusive target. And the only way to penetrate this nuclear stronghold is with bunker buster bombs and B-2 stealth bombers, weapons only available to the United States. Reports indicate that the United States is repositioning its assets and moving these advanced aircraft as well as fuel jets to the Middle East ahead of a possible military escalation. So for now, all eyes remain on U.S. President Donald Trump as Israel and the world await his decision. Joining us now with more on the U.S.'s role in this war is ILTV editor Steve Leibowitz. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, Lidar.
So, Steve, the million-dollar question, will Donald Trump decide to take a more active role in this war? What do you think? What are the analysts and the indications saying?
I haven't checked Las Vegas, but I do think that it's trending in favor. The general trend is that people are believing today more than yesterday that Trump will enter the war. And if they enter the war, then the best thing that they can bring to us is the so-called bunker buster. And I can tell you why if you want, because I've studied a lot about it.
So, yeah, why don't you give us sort of a breakdown about what these bunker buster bombs are? And, you know, from what I understand, the United States is the only country that has these weapons.
Not only the only ones that have it, it's called the GBU-57 AB Massive Ordnance Penetrator Bomb. That's the nickname is the bunker buster. It weighs 13,600 kilo, and the only plane in the world that's fitted to be able to carry it to Iran and to the Fordow nuclear facility is the B-2 stealth bombers. So the United States both has the only delivery system and the only weapon, the only bunker buster that can hit it. Now, they don't have to hit it only once. They have to hit it several times. What it does is it digs a hole, and then you have to continue hitting that same hole. In other words, it hits the Fordow reactor, it digs a bit of a hole. The second bunker buster comes in on top of that, makes it deeper, and then again and again until it bursts through into the reactor area and so on. So we need the United States to accomplish that. The only other way to accomplish that, by the way, which is not completely out of the realm of possibility, is to land commandos in the site, to create a kind of a ring of fire around the entire Fordow area, which is outside of Tehran, and land troops inside and do the job ourselves. That would be quite an accomplishment with, I'm sure, a lot of Mossad help. Your Mossad expert talked about that before. I'm sure that those guys on the ground already would be involved, but I'm not anticipating that at all.
Mm-hmm. That would be a much more dangerous mission for sure for Israeli soldiers. What can you tell us about the Fordow nuclear site? I mean, what, other than the fact that it's, you know, deep, deep underground, I mean, what distinguishes this site from the other sites that Israel has already bombed?
It makes the high quality, the high percentage centrifuges. It's so deep underground that if it's unpenetrable, then we have not eliminated their nuclear program. It's that simple. You cannot set back the nuclear program in Iran by years if you don't knock out Fordo. It's that simple. A lot of the other things that we knocked out already, Natanz and Isfahan, we've been hitting, is above ground. Maybe we've caused some damages underground. The IAEA is saying that we have. But if we don't hit Fordo, the job is not complete, and Iran can try to do some kind of a breakout and develop a number of bombs, using that facility. So clearly, it has to be dealt with in this war, either by their total surrender or by its total destruction. What one would hope.
And, you mentioned that Israel has already struck Isfahan, Natanz, some of the other nuclear facilities. If the war were to stop right now, how much has Israel actually set back the Iranian nuclear program as of today?
Not enough.
Do we have
not enough? I don't know. No, I mean, we've been damaging a lot of their launchers, which are replaceable, so their missile capabilities. We've knocked out a lot of their anti-aircraft, and we've knocked out facilities above ground related to nuclear. We've also killed a whole bunch of scientists. I don't know, how much that's going to set them back, but certainly that's a blow. So their program has been dealt blows, but certainly not enough. And our military guys are all saying we need another 2 weeks to do all the damages that we can do. Hopefully within that period of time, the U.S. will join in and help out at Fordo. And, after that 2-week period, then we can start to count up how much damage we've really done.
So all eyes on U.S. President Donald Trump anticipating his next move. Will he assist Israel in striking Fordo, or will he try to return to the negotiating table? ILTV editor Steve Leibowitz, thank you so much for joining us today.
A pleasure. Thanks, Lidar.
And in Israel, overnight, Iran fired multiple ballistic missile barrages targeting all of Israel. The skies lit up once again from the north to southern parts of Israel, with loud booms heard overhead from all areas of Israel, due mainly to the IDF interceptions. Since the beginning of this war, Iran has fired around 400 ballistic missiles into Israeli territory. The majority were intercepted, but dozens of missile impact sites have been identified, resulting in 24 deaths until now and around 600 people injured. Yet Iran's missile capabilities seem to be diminishing. While in the first days, the regime launched around 100 missiles in each barrage, the latest overnight salvos have included only tens of missiles each time, with impacts mostly landing in open areas or fields and with limited casualties. Defense Minister Israel Katz today reiterated once again his warning to the Iranian regime to stop firing on Israeli civilians and population centers, and insinuated that should this continue, Ayatollah Khamenei himself would become a target. Now, ILTV's Shosh Bedrosian has, since the start of the war, visited multiple sites of ballistic missile impacts. Yesterday, she was in Bnei Brak, where one person was killed from a missile impact, and a school for children with special needs was destroyed, leaving them with nowhere to go. Shosh shows just a glimpse into the devastation. Let's take a look.
I'm currently standing amongst the rubble here in Bnei Brak, a very religious Orthodox Jewish community here in central Israel, absolutely devastated by a direct hit from an Iranian ballistic missile. You can see all of the debris behind me. If you take a look over here, you'll actually see the inside of someone's home. The entire wall was nearly exploded out, and this was their kitchen. Amongst this rubble, an 80-year-old man was pulled out of it unconscious. He was then declared dead on Monday after the strike took place. You can see from the inside of homes, people ran out of their doors as quickly as they could, leaving their refrigerators wide open, all of their items and personal belongings out on tables, on the floors. What I want to show you right now is actually a school that's located just behind me in this structure. This is a school that has served nearly 300 children with severe disabilities in this community. It's been open for about 5 years. And now, with devastation this severe, it's unclear as to where these children will now go to school. You can see that this community took a direct hit from an Iranian ballistic missile. Just look at the baby crib behind me, literally teetering off the edge of what was supposed to be a first floor apartment. Now, many of these residents are packing up, not knowing when they will ever return back to their homes to restart a new life.
And in the meantime, 6 days after Israel shuttered its airspace at the start of the war with Iran, the first flight bringing Israelis back home has landed at Ben Gurion Airport. The flights are shuttling Israeli citizens from Larnaca, Cyprus. So far, over 100,000 Israelis have been stranded since Friday. The Israeli companies participating include El Al, Arkia Israel, and Air Haifa. And so far, there are still many stranded abroad. The airport authority is allowing just 2 landings per hour, limiting its capacity. It could take weeks for all of the Israelis to return. Some 60,000 Israelis have so far registered on the El Al site to book flights home after making their way to Larnaca. And I think we have some... No, I think we seem to be having some technical. Let's bring in our next guest then in the meantime. Joining us now is Dan Feferman, chairman of Sharaka and a Middle East analyst we have often here on ILTV. Dan was stranded abroad, but you've managed to make it back on a flight, and you've just recently landed home in Israel today. Dan, thanks for joining us. Dan, can you hear us? All right, we seem to have some technical difficulties with Dan. Dan, can you hear us? We see you, but we can't hear you. Okay, well, in the meantime, let's take a look at some of the people who are stuck in Cyprus right now. Let's see what they have to say.
There are a few options over here. Some said maybe there will be rescue flights, and some said there will be rescue sails. And right now I'm here, until stuck here until further notice.
It's very scary. As I'm here stuck in Cyprus, I'm worrying for my family back there in Israel. And we pray.
So we're trying to reconnect Dan Feferman. He was one of hundreds of thousands of Israelis that was stranded abroad. I think we have him on now. Dan, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, now we hear you. So Dan, welcome back home. Can you tell us a little bit about your ordeal? I mean, where were you when the war broke out?
Indeed, I was on my way back from a trip in the United States. I was on a flight, an El Al flight, thankfully, from JFK to Tel Aviv. We were literally, I would say, maybe 15, 20 minutes from landing. And we wake up, those of us who managed to sleep, as the news of Israel's surprise attack against Iran was unfolding. And then the pilot announced, and we could see on the screen that the plane was turning around and heading to Cyprus. We thought it might be a couple of hours. They actually just kept us in our seats on the tarmac. And then after a few hours, they told us this is going to be an indefinite stay, that the skies of Israel have been closed until further notice, and we're on our own. So you see an entire plane load of Israelis. This is a Friday. Many of us religious, scrambling to find hotels or Airbnbs or whatever it is right before Shabbat. None of us had made plans to be in Cyprus. Thankfully, the Chabad in Cyprus was wonderfully helpful. You saw a great camaraderie among the many, I'd say 1,000 people or so who were stranded on that day, and more who joined in the coming days. And then we had the announcement from El Al that this was yesterday, actually, that registration for flights home was open. The registration was a bit chaotic online, but I was very grateful to see that literally within 6 or 7 hours of registering, I received a notification that I will be on the morning flight back to Israel. And so even that, there was a good 2.5 hour delay on the plane in Larnaca. We landed. I mean, it was really surreal to land in an absolutely empty airport, and to be rushed through as fast as humanly possible. I think I was in and out from when I stepped off the plane to when I left with my luggage was maybe 10 minutes at most.
Wow, that's really an incredible story. You know, some people say it's crazy that Israelis are looking to fly back into Israel, into an active war zone. Some people just don't understand it. They say, why not stay abroad, ride this out? Maybe you can share with our viewers how it feels to finally be back home.
Yeah, I mean, in other circumstances, I was quite comfortable. I was staying at a friend's house. Cyprus is a lovely place. But when your family, first and foremost, your wife and children are under a rocket attack, your first instinct is not to run away. It's to go and be with them, even though there's not much I can do against Iranian missile attacks, but at least to be with them. But it's amazing to see that Israelis, unlike any other people I can think of during a time of war, want to rush to be home, to be with their people. That sense of camaraderie, that sense of unity. It's really inspiring and incredible. And as often as we tend to criticize how disorderly or rude or pushy Israelis can be in day-to-day life, I saw nothing but helping hands and warm and friendly tones between all of the travelers, even though, you know, we all woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning to make it to the airport. Everyone's tired, but just a sense that everyone was helping one another, no pushing, no shouting, no fighting. And it's really heartwarming to see.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really incredible. We know that there are still tens of thousands of Israelis stranded abroad. I mean, now that you're back home, do you have maybe any message, any advice you want to give to them?
I saw a lot of people in different WhatsApp groups and people I know who are looking for very creative ways to get home, whether ships, larger or smaller ships from Cyprus, whether flights to Egypt or Jordan and then land crossings. My sense, and this is just a sense, is that because the war itself, and thankfully to the IDF, is going much better than I think anyone had planned. It's progressing at a much faster pace. I would say just wait, be patient. And it looks like the Israeli government, together with the 3 Israeli airlines, is really doing all it can to repatriate people in as fast a way as possible and as safe a way as possible. So unless there really is an emergency to get home, my sense is just be patient, and there will be direct flights. For those stuck in the United States or in the Far East, perhaps it's better to get close and wait it out if possible. And if you're not in a rush to get home, I think just as hard as it is, try to make the best of it and wait till the flights open up in the orderly process that they seem to be managed so far.
Absolutely. Well, Dan Feferman, great to have you back home in Israel. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your story.
Thanks so much, and congratulations on the new 24-hour live stream.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And that's a wrap on ILTV on the Hour, live from Israel and the Middle East every hour on the Hour, the only English news delivering live updates around the clock. Stay with us for more updates on the developments unfolding with the war with Iran. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and see you soon.